So what we're going to do is we're going to make a new folder in our DynamoDB playground because we're going to generate out a bunch of batch files because we're going to need to batch import our data. So why don't you go here on the left-hand side and make a new folder, and we're going to call that batches. And we are going to need this data here. So both the CSV file and the CSV JSON.rb. Probably the easiest way to get it in there is just to click the raw button here, copy that, and we will make a new file in here, which we'll call csv2json.rb. If you're wondering why this file is written in Ruby, it's because that's my favorite language to use, so why not? And you don't need to know Ruby too much. I'll walk you through this file here in a moment, just so you understand what's going on here. We'll go back, and the next thing we'll need to do is grab that CSV file here. So I'm going to go there, get the raw data, copy all of that, and we will right-click, new file, starfleet.csv, and we'll double-click that. Okay, close tab here. It's because I did this project earlier, so it had a cached version. It was a bit confused. And so I pasted that in there just to make sure that name is correct. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at this file here. Let's talk about why we have to convert this to JSON and why it has to be in terms of batches. And the easiest way to understand is actually to first look at the command that we're going to be using, which is the batch write item. So the batch write item operation puts or deletes multiple items in one or more tables. A single call to a batch write item can write up to 16 megabytes of data, which can be comprised of 25 put or delete requests. So we have some limitations here, and individual items written can be as large as 400 kilobytes. So the thing is that we have records here. If we go back, because we have a nice visual here in GitHub, but you can see that we have, oh boy, 310 records. So that's more than 25. So we have to break this up into batches of 25. And we also have to provide it in the JSON format that it's expecting. I'm not aware of being able to import CSV. I'm going to check here. Nope, there's no way to import CSV. And the format that it's expecting, it looks like this here. So here it says request items JSON. It expects you to put the table name here, and then have this structured request put, item, and then the values. So that's what we need to do. We need to transform our data into that format, and that's why I wrote this little script here to do this. So we'll quickly just walk through it. So what it does is it pulls in the CSV file, and it reads the CSV file using the CSV file Ruby library. And this we may or may not need. When I originally created the CSV file, it was in Excel, and it was encoding the file not in UTF-8, but this other format. But we just copied and pasted it from here, so maybe we don't need this line anymore. So we'll see. This says include the headers, so it will detect these headers here, name, registry, etc. And then it will map it into a JSON file here. So when we do line, we can then specify that them like this. But the idea is what we want to do is iterate through this file. So it's going to go line by line. It's going to start at 25. And immediately as it starts at 25, it's going to reset it back to 1, and it's going to push on a new batch of files. So it's going to start with the starships file. That's the name of the file. And then it's going to then format the information into this put request. And it's going to do that. So it's going to create us a bunch of batches. Then it's going to iterate through those batches of data and create a bunch of batch files for us. So hopefully that makes sense, but it's better to see it in action than to talk about it. So what I want you to do is go down below here to your bash, type it clear, and we want to make our way into this folder here. So type in db DynamoDB. I'm hitting tab to autocomplete it. That saves a lot of time. Hit enter, and we want to run this Ruby file. So type in Ruby CSV to JSON.rb. And if everything is named correctly in here, Starfleet CSV, it looks correct to me. This should work. And there we go. There's our batch file. So we just transformed our data. Let's take a look at one of them. And that's the format we're expecting, right? If we look back here, that looks like the same format to me. This one's a bit more compact. But that's how we transform our data. And each of these contain 25 records. So now to import this, we're going to go back here, and we need to write our import command. So that import command is going to look like AWS, DynamoDB. We'll say this. We're using the batch write item. So DynamoDB batch write item. And we'll make our way over here and see what we need to specify. They should have an example here. Ooh, examples. And so we just specify the file. So it's as simple as that. So I'm just going to copy that there. In fact, we could just copy this whole line here, save us any trouble if we made any spelling mistakes. And this file is in batches, so we'll type in batches, batch -000. And I'm just going to paste this a bunch of times. And we'll go through here and we'll just change this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And what we'll do is we'll just copy all of these and paste them in. And there they go. And then number 12, we might just have to hit enter there. And so it says unprocessed items. So if there was anything in there, that means that it didn't process those. This could happen if we had maybe too many items, or if we were being throttled, or not throttled, but we hit our read capacity, or sorry, our write capacity. But we didn't. It executed these perfectly. So if we go back to DynamoDB here and give this a refresh, we can now see our records. So there they all are. Look at that. How great is that? So now that we know how to batch write, I guess the next thing is let's look at how we can actually get this data programmatically through the CLI.